Hello, my name is Karina Pena, and I will do this presentation with Ashton Silvis in the class of Dr. Parker, Summer 1 for Biology 1310.
Hello, my name is Ashton, and in this project, Karina and I will explain new technologies assisting birth control today, including both genders. We will discuss the potential impact of these rates on the U.S. human population, growth trends with special emphasis on demographics such as gender, race, ethnicity, and lifespan. Birth control can be a physical barrier to prevent pregnancy, or it can be hormonal. Birth control can also be temporary or permanent.
Birth control is a practice of preventing unwanted pregnancies. Without the prevention of unwanted pregnancies, the population begins to grow exponentially. Birth control for women are contraceptive, implant, IUD, sterilization, the shot, the pill, the patch, the ring, diaphragm, cervical cap, condom, the sponge, spermicide, and withdrawal. Birth control for men are sterilization, known as vasectomy, and condom. Synthetic hormonal birth control has primarily been used in women up until now. One of the major factors pushing new technologies in birth control is low cost that will make many of these methods available to people in low-income areas of the world.
There are many different birth control options for both men and women. Men have the option to either go through sterilization or condoms. Sterilization is going to be a more permanent form of birth control. It's a simple medical procedure that prevents the sperm from being released within the semen. And it works by a healthcare provider makes a small cut to snip the tubes that carry sperm to the scrotum. This keeps them from reaching the semen. Where there's no sperm in the semen, a woman can't get pregnant. The other option being a condom, which is a thin rubber sheath, and it's worn on the men's penis to prevent the semen from entering into the woman. As for women, there's quite a few more options than men. There's such a thing as a female condom, a contraceptive implant, IUDs, sterilization, a shot, a pill, a patch, a ring, diaphragm, cervical cap, sponges, spermicides, and withdrawal methods. Of course, all of which are going to have a very different way of working and different success rates. The female condom is also a contraceptive made of thin rubber. It's a lubricated polyurethane sheath with a ring at each end. One end is inserted into the vagina and the other stays outside the vagina, and of course blocks any amount of sperm from reaching through the cervix. There's also such thing as a contraceptive implant, which is a small plastic rod, and what that does is it's releasing the hormone progesterone to prevent pregnancy. An IUD is a T-shaped, often containing copper device inserted into the uterus, and it's a long-acting reversible contraceptive that is going to keep pregnancy from being possible for a couple years, and then the device is able to be removed and the woman's able to get pregnant with no problem. Then of course there's the more permanent option of sterilization, which is closing or blocking the fallopian tubes. And then there's other forms like the shot, the pill, the ring, the patch, that are all going to be hormonal birth controls, and it's just different ways of administering the hormones. And then there's the more physical things like the diaphragm, which is a soft latex or silicone dome that's molded to fit into the rim, and it also seals against the walls of the vagina and blocks the cervix. There's a cervical cap, which is very similar to a diaphragm, and there's also a sponge that's inserted to cover the cervix also. And there's also spermicides that help to kill sperm, or there's the withdrawal method that's using no physical barrier, and it's just not inserting semen into the vagina.
New birth control technologies. With the exception of condoms, most of the other types of birth control have been for women. Recently, the more popular form of birth control has turned to semi-permanent options like IUDs that prevent pregnancies for a few years at a time. These options are placed in the uterus and block the fallopian tube. Now, scientists are working on things such as microchip contraceptives, RIS, Eugene, insinual implant.
One of the newer forms of contraceptives that are potentially being tested by the FDA is the microchip contraceptive. And it's created by a Massachusetts company that's working to create a remote-controlled microchip that is implanted to be able to administer hormonal birth control. This would help in instances where people aren't regular or remember their current birth control methods. The other benefit is that the companies are able to make these relatively cheap, so they could be a widespread option for many people.
RISUG is like an IUD for female. It's a semi-permanent. It will last up to 15 years. This is a gel-like substance injected into the vas deferens, blocking the outflow of sperm, making it 100% effective.
Another option being tested by the FDA is the Sino implant. It's an injection of two thin, flexible rods inserted under the skin to administer hormonal birth control. And this will work almost in the same way as the microchip, but without the ability to remote control it.
Birth control methods and efficiency. Whenever birth control methods are utilized correctly, this increases the likelihood of their effectiveness. Most common birth control methods have an effectiveness rate of between 80 to 98%. The new methods of birth control are aimed to be completely foolproof and low cost. These methods are able to protect against STDs, unfortunately.
With the two different types of contraceptives either being a more hormonal version or a physical version, the physical versions do come with protection against STDs and HIV. So obviously for condoms, those are going to be the two that are going to protect against STDs and HIV, whereas things such as sterilization, contraceptive implants, IUDs, the shots, the pills, the patch, the ring, diaphragm, cervical cap, sponge, or spermicide, or especially the withdrawal methods, aren't going to protect against any type of STD or HIV infection.
Conclusions. Birth control is used to prevent pregnancies, and every birth control has many other advantages and disadvantages besides not protecting or protecting from HIV or STDs. Birth control methods are being technologically advanced to become more advanced and foolproof. Many new methods are also aimed at not being a hassle so that people will use them regularly and efficiently. With low cost effective birth control being able to be distributed all over the world, not only will unwanted pregnancies be able to be prevented, but STD infections will be on the decline. Questions and answers. The questions are: is all birth control HIV and STD free? How does the semi-permanent last? Is birth control increasing over time? What is birth control for? What is RSUG? Is birth control for everyone? All these questions have answers. Is all birth control HIV and STD free? No, it's not. How much does a semi-permanent last? About 15 years. Is birth control increasing over time? Yes, it is. What is birth control for? To prevent pregnancies. What is RSUG? A gel substance injected into the vas deferens, blocking the outflow of sperm. Is birth control for everyone? No, it's not. Because there is few families that struggle to have children and do not use birth control methods. They use other methods to get pregnant. The references are for this PowerPoint is Texas Department of Health, Centers for Disease Control, Health Negos, and FertilityToday.